All right. So welcome everyone to the weekly coaching call with yours truly, Omar Pinto and Tori Skeen, my co-pilot. And as we usually do in this coaching calls, we help people who are currently struggling with a particular subject or an item in their life they could use a little bit of coaching on. So who in the group is currently struggling with something, could need a little assistance or a little help, possibly even have an objective they want to accomplish that we can help you with?
I
Chris,
think
go
I
for
can
it.
throw.
Oh, all right. Hold on one second. I got a hand up over here. Chris is muted.
No, it's the same reason. I'm fine. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. I saw the little hand up. So I was like,
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so Katie, shoot.
No way.
Wasn't it you who said something?
No, I did not.
It was Amber.
It was who?
It was Amber.
Oh, where is Amber? Oh, she's not on video. Got it. No one. Sorry, Katie.
That's okay. That is okay.
I saw you unmuted and I just assumed it was coming from you. All right, Amber, go for it.
All
How can
right.
we
Sorry,
help?
guys. I was only going to speak up because nobody was speaking. So I kind of feel like I'm very early on in sobriety. I guess officially I'm a little over a month without doing anything at all. And like I told you guys before, I was served divorce papers and he was requesting that I like give him custody of the kids and things of that nature. So that's been quite the struggle. I've been having issues at work. Everybody knows about my past and my addiction and things of that nature. And I've been a loner for quite some time. So I feel very anxious now. I feel like I can't catch a break, whether that's at work or at home, or I kind of just feel overwhelmed. And I don't know any advice on how to get past this, or because I'm really struggling at this point. I was telling Leo the other night, I got to a point where I was so overwhelmed that I actually went to the liquor store and just sat there for a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And I really thought about it. I didn't end up doing anything or buying anything, but it was just the fact that I had no control, that I actually drove there. Then I was disgusted with myself when I got there. But yeah, I'm angry, I'm bitter, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm not really sure how to move forward with all of this. And I go to the meetings and I don't know, I'm unhappy and I feel pretty numb to everything, to the kids, to myself, to life in general. And I just don't know how to move forward.
Okay. All right. So first of all, thank you for joining us on the call, because you have got a whole lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. So let's start with the anger. Okay. So finish this statement, Amber. Okay. I am angry because.
I am angry because I worked very hard in my early 20s to get out of the neighborhood that I lived in, to get away from the family that I was from. And I worked really hard with my education, I guess, to become successful. And in doing that, I hit a brick wall, because that's when I met my husband and we started having problems. So for 10, 15 years, I just found myself in alcohol and Xanax and things of that nature. And I lost 15 years with my kids, with myself. I don't know. I'm very angry with me, because I'm just even though I worked really hard to get away from my family and the situation I was from, I'm just becoming them. I'm becoming them, and I'm just becoming that product of my environment. And, you know, looking back at it, it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't really know. I'm angry with me for all of this because I had an opportunity and I feel like I just keep blowing it.
So well done. Well done, Amber. This is huge accountability and taking ownership. And it's really a lot of times just getting to this place is so difficult, is recognizing that I'm not blaming everybody. Okay. I'm angry at myself for, you know, working so hard and then becoming like my family, correct?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So how long, so you said about 30 days sober now?
Yeah, I'm just a little over 30 days, but I feel like this is kind of a trend for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll reach this point and I'll peak because I'm overwhelmed or I can't deal with reality or
Mm-hmm.
and then I always slip right back into it. And I've given it more effort this time around through lifestyle changes and meetings, and that's something I've never done before. But when reality sets in, like it has the past couple of days, I can't stop thinking about it.
Okay.
And that makes me angry too, because it's like racing thoughts. It's an obsession. And that, I don't know.
Okay. So I'm overwhelmed with reality because
I realize that I have a 16-year-old daughter and I've lost 15 years with her. I'm overwhelmed because it's taking a toll with my job. I'm overwhelmed because my marriage pretty much has failed. I've let myself go. I lost one career because of this, and I'm working on number two. And I have a 7-year-old son who has seen me in not the best situations, and he remembers. And I feel like I am doing to my 3-year-old daughter what I've done to my 16-year-old. So
okay.
Just a little overwhelmed with all of that.
Okay. So there's a few possible feelings that you are overwhelmed with. What would you guess those feelings are? I'm overwhelmed with feelings of
Regret, remorse. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed.
Maybe some guilt in there.
Oh, definitely. A lot of guilt.
Okay. All right. So here's the good news. I mean, just think of all this information that's instantly accessible. Okay. So there's no denial. There's no justifying or rationalizing. There's just this extreme awareness of what has happened. I am filled with regret and remorse. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I feel guilty. I've lost all these years. I'm in this repetitive pattern of relapse. I just seem to kind of get 30 days and then, you know, go back out. And a lot of it stems from this idea that you have there's probably this feeling that you have failed and disappointed everyone around you.
Oh, absolutely. And I pretty much, I don't have too many people in my circle, just my husband and the kids. I mean, I have my mother and my dad, but they're pretty burned out from their situation. But you know, at work too, I feel like I've let them down as well because I don't know.
Okay. So this, at some point, you have to You have to let go of keeping score. Right now, you're keeping score. Do you know what I mean by that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you're keeping score. You're keeping a running total on all of your past failures and mistakes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so when we do that, it becomes practically impossible to really get a foothold on either your sobriety or your emotional well-being. Because as you move towards a more positive, as you start to pick up positive momentum, you start pulling yourself back through regret and remorse and shame. Correct?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Okay. All right. So this is called self-sabotage. Okay. And so this is really what we're looking for here is an opportunity to get a new shift in mindset, a new perspective on what's going on here. And not even so much what's going on here, how to let go of the past. So the only reason why we hold on to things, so you can either say I'm holding on or I am attached. Okay, so let's just say, so I'm holding on to or attached to. The reason why we do is for a secondary benefit. So in the forefront or on the surface, none of it seems positive. It all is negative, you know,
Right.
The regrets, the remorse, the mistakes, the failures, all that. But I'm holding on to it for some reason. Otherwise, I would let's just imagine for a moment, their memories,
Right.
their past events, they're not happening in the present. And the only thing I have to do is decide differently. And I no longer have to repeat the same behavior. So it's not happening currently, but I choose to hold on to it for some reason. What do you think might be a benefit to holding on to all this negativity?
Not a thing, honestly. You know, I can't justify why I hold on to it. I just in the last few weeks of reading and trying to start a new habit of, I don't know, self-development or something. I've always been a very cynical person, I feel, or pessimist over the last 10, 15 years. And I have no reason why. I have no reason why I hold on to it. I have no reason to feel numb right now or want to go out and, I guess break my sobriety. I don't know. And I've been doing the therapy thing, and I do my AA meetings and my sobriety engine meetings. And I am, like I was telling Leo the other day too, I'm just not happy. And I have no reason to not be happy, but I'm just not fulfilled. I'm not happy. Reality is just, it sucks.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to do some more digging. So let's go back a little further. So I'm angry because I worked really hard over the last 20 years to get out of my family or away from my family. How was that again?
Yeah, I worked really hard. I grew up in a not so good area of Toledo, Ohio. And I came from a long line of drug addicts, alcoholics. Majority of the women in my family were prostitutes. There was like a lot of sex trafficking. And I hated it. I hated who I came from, hated where I came from. I wanted to be everything that they weren't. I tried really hard to get away from them, that situation, and like not associate myself with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then for 10 years, you know, my husband used to bring it up to me. He's like, that's all you do. That's all you talk about is them, your childhood. Like you say you try to get away from it and you worked hard to get away from it, but you're consumed with them. And I see that. Now I see that, but just a lot of anger.
So you spent 20 years getting out of it.
Yes.
Getting out of it.
Well,
Okay.
I thought I was.
Okay. And so what were you doing? What kind of work were you doing to get away from your family? Or to get out of
I
it?
went in my early 20s, I went into law enforcement so I could, I guess, be on the opposite side
Mm-hmm.
of them. And then not too long into that, I met my husband and he wanted me to get out of that field. And I went into the medical field. So that's kind of where I've been for the last 5 or 6 years, is in the medical field. And my last little hoorah, whatever you want to call it, I ended up having to go to the ER, and I didn't know what was wrong. And I honestly God thought I was dying. I was hallucinating. I've never been in a situation like that before. I was sick. So I ended up telling one of the physicians, like in detail, like, listen, you know, I'm an alcoholic. I don't know if this could be like DTs or, you know, whatever it may have been. But I just wanted to be honest. And in doing that, a couple of the females that were in the ER actually worked where I work. And then that's how my work got involved. And that's how everybody knows there. And so I don't know.
Okay. All right. So you were in law enforcement for how long?
Technically I still am. I just don't work anymore. I just hold my certificate.
Well, how long did you actively work in law enforcement?
Probably about 7 years.
Okay. And how old were you when you started?
I think I was 23, 24.
23 or 24. Okay. And did you enjoy working in law enforcement?
No, sir. No.
Okay. All right. So why did you go? So again, explain to me why you chose to go into law enforcement.
Sorry. I wanted to be on the opposite side of my family. They always had a strong hatred towards law enforcement, but I was always, I always felt it was because like you guys are, you know, you're committing crimes, you know, like this is why they're always involved at our house. This is why they're beating Dad up, you know, because of what you guys are doing. But yeah, that was pretty much why.
Okay. All right. And so what was it about law enforcement that you did not enjoy?
If I was honest, I feel like I could side with like the defendant, or I could side with the one who had just for instance, like a domestic violence. I come from dysfunction. I was used to females being beat up in my home. I was used to like the male being the aggressor. And, you know, my dad was very vocal when he would say things like, well, you should just shut the fuck up and I wouldn't have to put my hands on you, you know, to my mom or my aunts or, you know. So I used to tell my husband, you know, like I do my job and I know the ORC and I know the laws and I follow it to a T. I was never, you know, I never did anything shady, but I kind of could side with the criminal activity or the dysfunction because I always felt like that was normal. Like I used to tell my husband, I thrived in dysfunction. I'm used to it. So when I see it, it's not a shocker to me. Like it was kind of like normalcy, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yep. Keep going.
I guess that's really it. I felt like I I had a heart for like, you know, why are we here? Because drugs are involved, because abuse is involved, because of those things. But it's like, I mean, that happens. Like, I understand why you're selling drugs, because you have to put food on the table. Or, you know, I understood the dysfunction, and I hated that because my peers weren't like that. They were very by the book, and, you know, you don't commit a crime and you don't do A, B, and C. But
I see a positive here, though. I do, Amber. So I'm curious here. It's you left law enforcement because you were feeling too connected to the defendants, or I said you could say the perpetrators.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That was one of the reasons. I honestly, I would probably have never left it if I guess I can't say that because I was getting pretty burned out, but my husband is, he's a very aggressive individual by nature. And he made it very clear that, you know, he wasn't going to tolerate, that career choice. So I had went into nursing kind of just to make a dramatic change, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy nursing?
I do. I do. But you know, I like the people I work with, like I've suffered with, you know, my addictions for so long. Like I work in the emergency department, and my peers, majority of them are very nasty when it comes to addiction, or you know, when we have mental health patients come in, they're just nasty, and I've been vocal about it. And so I kind of feel like I've not made any good relationships there because of that. I feel like a lot of the people I work with are very privileged, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They come from very good backgrounds, and, you know, I know we all suffer, definitely we all suffer, but when I listen to them, it just makes me sick, because it's like, you don't know what they're struggling with. You don't know their crisis. Like, how dare you treat them as such, you know? So I feel like that's kind of why I dislike the place I'm at. And I've been there for the last few years. So maybe it's just time for me to make a change. Maybe it's just that environment, but I'm a creature of habit.
Well, here's something that I wonder if you've taken into consideration at all. And what you might want to take a little bit of thought here is, in both of these situations, you are either citing for the perpetrator or citing for your patients, correct?
Yes.
So what it feels like to me is that you have a very heightened sense of compassion and empathy for people who have struggled and suffered in the way that you have.
Definitely.
Okay. So would you consider that to be a good quality or a bad quality in you?
At this point, I kind of feel like it's one of my flaws.
For what reason would it be a flaw?
Because I feel like I didn't make a good cop, because I could understand dysfunction and why it was going on. And then I feel like I guess in nursing, I guess it would be okay because I'm more compassionate than some that I work with. But in the same breath, I leave the patient that I'm, you know, medicating for DTs, only to go out and do the same shit. So.
You're conflicted, Amber.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're conflicted. Okay. And so when we are conflicted, it causes dis-ease within us. What's happening is, like, when we talk about alcoholism or addiction, or we talk about any sort of physical manifestation of some sort of psychological or spiritual trauma or shortcoming, it will manifest itself physically. Okay. It's a dis-ease. And the dis-ease here is in this conflict that you have between your instinct, your instinctual and intuitive, I guess you could say, drive, or that's the only word that's coming to me now, or this ability to be incredibly compassionate and empathetic towards people that are struggling.
Yeah.
Because of what you have been through.
Yeah.
So what it leads me to believe is that a lot of what you have been through is so that you could be this person. So you could be someone that has you're a champion. Okay. So you're a champion. You champion for others.
I try.
All right. And so what's happening is, at the same time, you're also judging yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So on one side, you know what's right. I can understand. I know what domestic abuse is like. I know what physical abuse is like. I know what these people are going through. It's not fair that the way that they're being treated. It's not fair, the treatment that they're getting. They should be getting this type of treatment. So instead of pushing forward, championing more aggressively, okay, instead you judge yourself and say, oh my God, you know what? I'm just not a good enough cop, or I'm not a good enough nurse, or I'm not a good enough wife.
Right.
Because I'm not living up to the expectations of those around me. Does that make sense?
Right, definitely. And, I can throw in there too, even though I say like my peers that I work with now, they come from good backgrounds, majority of them that I know of. I know we all have our battles. Even though I feel that way, I feel beneath them. I feel very inferior. Even with my first career, I never felt, and even now, I don't feel like I belong. I always feel like that dumb ghetto girl from the hood that doesn't belong here, that's not smart enough. And I was telling my therapist the other day, I've always been heavy on education, but I feel ignorant. Like I can't articulate well. I can't go back and forth with you in a conversation. I've never been good at holding conversations. But yet you can't catch me out of, I guess, school or education, because I've always just felt like not good enough.
I've always felt not good enough. So what did your dad want you to be when you grew up?
He used to tell me that I used to always argue. I was always good at arguing. And I had gotten pregnant with my daughter. He never said that he wanted me to be anything. My dad was kind of like in and out. But when I got pregnant with my daughter at a young age, he was very disappointed. He kicked me out of the house, and he was like, out of everyone here, I thought you would be the lawyer. I thought you'd be something, go somewhere. So I feel like that was kind of my drive. But when I went into law enforcement, he got like he didn't talk to me before, really. Like it was just like, in and out, didn't really see him too much. He was always doing his hood BS, but I felt like he would always challenge me. He used to always borrow money from me, like in the beginning, and he came to my work one day, and the things that he was saying to me was just like completely disrespectful. It wasn't warranted. I think he was high, honestly, but he had come to pick up money, and he was like, oh, you think you're a real badass in uniform, huh? And I was like, what? I thought he was kidding. And then he started escalating, and my mom was there. I ended up not talking to him for a while, maybe a couple of years, only to go out there and visit with my oldest daughter. And then the same shit start up again. And it was like that with him, my mom, my brother. They all would I guess just put me down because of that feel. So kind of disowned me and a lot of my family as well. But
Was your dad the head of the patriarch?
oh
Was
yeah.
okay, so whatever dad said, everyone followed along.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
if he was criticizing you or ganging up on you, they would follow suit with dad. So whatever dad did,
Right.
so if he was praising you, they would stand behind him.
Yeah, but he never did that.
Oh no,
You
I
know, he
got you.
was,
I got you.
yeah.
I'm just saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
They
so
would follow
now,
suit.
okay, Amber. Now I'm going to take you on a little bit of I'm going to take you on a little journey. Okay.
Okay.
So I want you to just relax. Okay. Because I think I'm onto something here. Something just kind of landed on me or landed. And so I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose. Strong exhale out. Okay. And I want you to do that 3 times. Deep in. Strong exhale out. And one more time. And I'm going to bring my voice down. I want you to bring as much of the intensity down as possible. And I just want you to follow my voice. And I want you to imagine that there's a father that has no idea how to raise children. He just has no idea. No role models. Raised in a dangerous, dysfunctional neighborhood, in a dangerous, dysfunctional family setting, doing the absolute best that he can, yet not knowing what he's doing. And somewhere along the lines, he has this little baby girl that seems to show some real promise, seems to show some real potential. She seems to be pretty smart. She's assertive and she's stands up for herself and she's seems to be pretty strong. And so this father, who has no idea what he's doing, consciously or subconsciously, sees this shining possibility, this hope, this potential hope that this one could make it. Like this one's got a shot. This one could do great things with her life. And maybe, and just maybe, this one right here will help me redeem myself. If she does well, if she's successful, maybe I am not such a shitty father. Maybe this means that I didn't fail all of them. And so he has these like lofty dreams, and he's kind of has this vision of his beautiful daughter becoming this incredibly successful attorney, championing for good. And she becomes a cop. One of the things that the man probably hates more than anything else is law enforcement. And goes and somehow loses sight of the potential that he saw. And now all he sees is potential wasted. And so I thought you were the one that was going to make it. And his only way of trying to get you back on track is to be himself, to be mean and be yeah, to be mean and to be aggressive and to shame you. And maybe in hopes that maybe it would push you away from what you were doing so that you could eventually find your way back to what you were supposed to be doing. And somewhere along the lines, you meet a man that is just like your father and become attracted to a man that's just like your father. In hopes that maybe this relationship that you were unable to cultivate with your father, you may be able to redeem yourself through this man. Seeking to feel whole, seeking to feel accomplished, seeking to feel acknowledged and appreciated, and feel the way you did at some point. There may have been this idea that maybe I can make it. Maybe I can be different. Maybe I can. Maybe I can be different. And I spent 20 years of my life trying to do so. And instead, I fall into alcohol. And I lose hope and I lose faith. And I lose my way. And I just can't seem to find my way back. Now, that's all that just came to me, Amber. That little story just came to me. Tell me how it lands for you.
Well, I feel like it was all very accurate. That's for sure.
What else?
I guess I really don't have the words. Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to sit with this. And I want you to recognize and I want you to hear me as I tell you, it's not your fault. And there's nothing wrong with you.
Thank you.
And your family, especially your father, despite all the evidence to the contrary, loves you very much. And I'm not saying that he's safe, and I'm not saying that he is ever going to admit it.
Yeah.
But this is for you, Amber. This is for you. This is so you can forgive yourself for ever believing that you let them down and that you failed them. And more importantly, that you let yourself down and that you failed yourself. And that in this crazy world that we live in, you just lost your way. And it's been this struggle to try and first separate yourself from your upbringing, but then at the same time, there's a part of you that wants to save them too.
Yeah, most definitely.
And when you create and you set up consciously or subconsciously a bar so high, that is such a big bar. That's such a high bar to think that some way, somehow, by saving them, you save yourself.
Right.
You redeem yourself. But what you need to recognize is that was never your cross to bear. The only thing that you're responsible for is you. And what you're doing right now with all of this, the constant drinking and the constant relapsing and this constant, these 15 years that you've lost, it's trying to escape this feeling that you failed and disappointed them, and that you failed and disappointed yourself.
Yeah.
And so this is where the work begins. The work begins by forgiving yourself, by ever believing that it was your responsibility to save everybody.
I'm trying to get to forgiveness.
Well, that's why you got into law enforcement, and that's why you got into nursing. It's this idea that there's nothing probably more important than you than helping others and saving others.
Yeah.
And what that usually means is that the ones that champion for others and are heroes and rescuers, the things that they crave the most in their lives is to be rescued and saved themselves.
I absolutely agree with that.
So I have some homework for you. You ready?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the drama triangle?
No.
The drama triangle, I want you to write that down.
Okay.
And I want you to Google the drama triangle. And I want you to, there's some YouTube videos out there, and there's plenty of articles on there. But the drama triangle is represented by 3 roles that are played in every dysfunctional relationship. 3: the victim, the aggressor, and the rescuer. And in every single relationship, we will fulfill, the people that are trapped in there will fulfill one of those roles at one point or another. So the victim will at some point play the aggressor, potentially the rescuer, and vice versa. Right? And as I express those roles to you, do you see any of those roles played out in your own marriage?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So the first thing that we're doing, and for you, this is not an easy one. There's a lot of work here. Okay. You see how much it took me to just kind of get to here.
Right.
All right. So the first thing we have to do is recognize the roles that we've been playing for all these years. So a little bit of research to understand the roles you've played and why. And then we have to do an extraction. Okay. So basically, imagine a team of Navy SEALs, okay, going in to rescue Amber from herself. So Amber is currently trapped inside of a drama triangle, and we need to send in special teams, Navy SEALs, helicopters. She's very deep inside of it. We have to extract her from the drama triangle at all costs. And ultimately, what we need is a brand new role to fulfill. So I need to remove myself. I need to heal from this need to rescue. I need to heal from this need to be a victim. And I need to heal from this need to be an aggressor. I may or may not play all of the roles all the time. There's probably one for you. It's probably the rescuer that you play most of the time.
Yeah.
But you will play the other roles. The idea is to replace all of those roles. So basically, not even replace them. Extract you from the triangle and create a brand new role.
Okay.
And that is the only real challenge right now. The only real challenge is trying to identify who Amber is. Who is Amber? And what does she want? If I were to ask you, Amber, what is it that you truly want in your life?
You know, I don't know. I really don't know.
And who do you want to be?
I kind of just want to be the girl that walked away at 17 and was motivated and driven and clear. But I don't.
Motivated, driven, and clear. The 17-year-old. What do you want? I don't know. Who do you want to be? I want to be that 17-year-old girl that was motivated and driven and clear. And what will it take for you to become her again?
I wish I knew. That's why I'm kind of struggling. I feel numb. Just like I don't know if it's like depression or anxiety or what it is. I don't think I've ever been sober enough to know or feel over the last decade or so.
So what would that 17-year-old girl, if she was in the same situation you are right now, what would she do?
I don't even know. I don't think I knew her long enough to know.
She's still there. She's still there, and she's waiting for you to reconnect with her.
I'm definitely ready.
Okay. So this is a reparenting. It's time to reparent yourself. And, you know, if I knew all this beforehand, we would have gone into this where I guide you the same way I kind of guided you in that story. We guide you back to reconnect with 17-year-old Amber because she's got plenty to say.
Right.
So here's what we're going to do. If you show up next Wednesday, right, and you're up for it, then we're going to try and connect with 17-year-old Amber.
All right. It sounds good.
In the meantime, what's your homework assignment?
The drama triangle.
Very good. And do your best in the mornings to try and reconnect with 17-year-old Amber. Do you have a picture of yourself at 17?
I think I do.
Okay. You need to pull that one up. You need to wake up in the morning. You need to look at that photo. And you need to look at it and you need to say, I have lost my way. And I know you're still there. And I know you want to talk to me. I know you have plenty to say. Help me. Guide me.
I will
Show
most
me.
definitely do that.
Okay. All right.
All right. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you.
Amber, that was pretty powerful stuff right there. Thank you for, allowing.
Yes, absolutely. And I appreciate your words and I appreciate everyone listening.
All right.
That was probably better than any of the therapy sessions I've had over the last month.
Yeah, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty sure that's very accurate.
I'll take it.
So will I.
All right. Thank you. All right. Have a good night.
All right. Wait. Where'd she go? Amber, don't leave yet.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So before you leave, I just want to see, does anyone else want to add anything? There was a lot that was said. So does anyone want to either, give Amber a little bit of love, a little bit of support? Did anything come up for anyone on this call, right? While we were having this call that reminded them of something that they're struggling with? The floor is open. Thank you, Julie.
I'd just like to say that's one of the most powerful sessions I've heard in a long time. Thank you both for that. That was amazing. And especially how you brought out about the father and how he's struggling and how doesn't know any better. I have father issues as well, Amber, not nearly as bad as yours, but I can really understand how you feel. And I really hope you can connect with that 17-year-old again, because once you do, you will get that motivation back. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
That was beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Katie?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I can't relate to your story, Amber. I can relate to your feelings, but not really your story. But I do want to tell you that you come across to me as very articulate and very intelligent. And I don't know why you would think that you're not intelligent, because you come across clear and concise and you have good answers. And I just want to let you know that I feel like, my perception of you is that you're a very intelligent woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, dear.
Thank you, Katie. And you took the words right out of my mouth. At some point, I remember when Amber was saying all that about herself, and I was going to say, you seem to be doing just fine in this conversation.
Definitely.
I appreciate that.
Right? So I just want to read what Jen wrote. Amber, I totally understand seeing the dysfunction and at times feeling for the perpetrators. Tree Life writes, I was on the other side as an inmate. I feel for you, Amber. And Jen, again, we love you, Amber. Please reach out to us. We will be here for you. So that's what's really so amazing about being in a group setting like this. It provides so much love and support that in most cases, many people have no idea is available to them. This is access to incredibly powerful support and opportunities for healing. And it is a blessing to be in a group like this with such support. So feel free to reach out to some of these members. There's a lot of strong women in this group.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Anyone else? All right. So once again, a big hand for Amber. That was incredible. Let's send a lot of, how do I do this? Okay. A lot of love your way. And hopefully, Amber, we will see you next week as we try and connect with 17-year-old Amber. Love you all. Have a wonderful week, everyone.